Morning in the forest. The mist had yet to clear. A light, graceful figure glided between the branches and came to rest on an old tree. Perched there was a wise old owl. "Welcome, Wind Swallow," said Grandpa Owl with a warm smile. "Thank you for letting me stay for a while," Wind Swallow replied softly, her voice tapering off at the end. Grandpa Owl shook his head, his voice gentle yet firm. "If you're willing, this can be your home for as long as you like." Wind Swallow didn't reply right away. She simply bowed her head and nodded just a little. Together, they glided over the forest. Along the way, she saw many different animals, each moving in their own rhythm, each with their own way of being. She was used to flying straight through entire forests, never pausing. But today, she folded her wings and followed Grandpa's slow, steady glide. The wind here is slower than anywhere I've flown before, she thought. But somehow, it feels gentler too. They passed beneath an old tree where a small white rabbit sat quietly, writing in a notebook. "That's Mimi," said Grandpa Whale, "Hes, a quiet sort of friend." In another clearing, a red fox practiced a performance in front of her reflection, her voice confident, tail swaying in rhythm. "That's Little Red Fox, one of the best in the forest at expressing her feelings." By the river, the sound of an accordion drifted through the trees. Little Bear sat on a rock, playing and adjusting his music with quiet focus. "That's Little Bear. He practices late into the night. His pace is slow, but every note is carefully thought through." By the lake, Little Deer was drawing. She moved slowly, occasionally looking up at the water before adding another line. Her name is Little Deer. She doesn't speak much, but her drawings hold many things she doesn't say out loud. Near the supply shed, Little Gray Wolf was hauling things back and forth, cheerfully greeting every animal who passed by. But oops, he knocked over a box of fabric again. Grandpa chuckled. "That's Little Gray Wolf. He always wants to help, though sometimes a bit too eagerly." Finally, they reached a pavilion. A raccoon was making tea, saying nothing, just raising a paw in a gentle wave. "That's Raccoon. No one really knows what he's thinking most days, but just sitting near him makes you feel at ease." Wind Swallow quietly listened and watched, saying little along the way. She had expected that, in a new place, someone would quickly ask where she came from, how long she would stay, or invite her to join something right away. But here no one did. Everyone was simply doing their own thing. Yet each one still looked up, nodded, or smiled at her in passing. By evening, a few soft lights glowed through the forest. Little Red Fox suggested telling a story. Gray Wolf rushed to set up chairs. Little Bear brought a newly practiced tune. Little Deer sat quietly listening. Raccoon passed around a pot of warm tea. They gathered by the pavilion, talking, sipping, with no fixed plans, no set topics. Raccoon looked up at Wind Swallow, perched on a high branch, and raised his cup. "If you like, you're welcome to come sit with us." Wind Swallow shook her head and smiled. "Thank you. I'd like to just watch for now." Raccoon nodded. "Of course. If you ever want to join in, you're welcome anytime." Everyone heard and smiled. No one urged her. No one minded. Wind Swallow watched the soft glow of lights and the gentle sound of laughter. So, they're not always quiet. It's just that even in quiet moments, no one feels alone, she thought. She noticed how Fox used hand gestures while telling her story. Little Bear sat upright but kept sneaking glances at Deer's drawing. Raccoon poured tea without rushing. Mimi sat silently, just listening. She didn't fly away. She didn't speak. She simply stayed and watched. That night, back in the high branches, Wind Swallow opened her little notebook and wrote, "This place is so quiet, but it's not all only quiet. Everyone moves at their own pace. I haven't figured out how to follow yet, but I'm learning to listen. I never realized slowness could feel this full. Rhythm isn't something to catch up with it. It's something to feel. I haven't said much yet, but today I learned that listening is already a way of drawing closer. She closed her notebook and shut her eyes. The wind gently brushed the branches. That night, she didn't fly far. She simply stayed. She just wanted to listen to the rhythm of the forest a little longer. Mimi looked up at the night sky and saw wind swallow's silhouette perched on a distant branch. He smiled quietly. In his notebook he wrote, "Some friends don't rush to get close. They pause and choose to listen to the wind hear instead."